Hey folks, this is Brian. We got to play Elderath last night. Lots of tech issues on my part. I use a screen capture software that had an update, and we were doing a bunch of catch up for one of the players who had missed last session. So I was, going through my update, do my stuff, all that kind of thing, and it wanted a new activation code. What? The old activation code I have is probably the first one. I did buy a second because you're allowed so many licenses, and I've gone through enough computers trying to have it on different formats that I ran out, so I bought a new license. But apparently I don't have the code for that license hidden away. So I have to email them and find out what's going on. So I tried OBX. It seemed to be working, although when I had it rolling, I was doing the recording and not the streaming, and that may have been my problem. The screen itself was black, but when I clicked on the recording, it showed the screen that had, the maps and dice and stuff going on. So I thought it was capturing everything, but it wasn't. I do have it in the live play if you want to listen to our thing. It's a black screen, but you can hear the voices. So it does start a little late because of the whole crap. This isn't working. I need something else. And then it cuts out at the end because OBX sucks up so much CPU usage that the dice roller with Owlbear was rolling really slowly. It took forever for the freaking dice to end up. So I started rolling dice on my own, which, worked out well. But then my audio coming through into the game was breaking up, and the guys couldn't hear me very well. So I just started typing in this Discord text chat. And I finally was just going, hey, what if I do that through my other laptop, the Discord audio and stuff, and see if that, releases enough CPU for things to happen. So I managed to get that set up, but my mic would not work with my old laptop. I could hear fine, but it wouldn't record my voice. I'm assuming that the USB mic is just too high tech, because that thing is at least 12, 13 years old. So yeah, and this one's, the battery's starting to bulge on, so I'm thinking about going ahead and getting a new one and just use this for my backup. Well, we'll see how they happen. So anyway, OBX is sucking up too much CPU usage. I can't get out of, so I finally went to my phone, ran Discord on it. But when I ran Discord on it, it stopped the Discord on my laptop. My laptop, and so it stopped recording audio in the OBX because I pulled the Discord off. So it stops short at the end as well. So anyway, I've got my script. Let's see what happened. Okay, from last session, we loaded up and pushed away from the land. Raymond was able to do he got a special success. He was able to do a special success on his canceled channeling, which worked enough to depress. Maybe it was just regular success. No, he was having, must have been special. He was able to depress the curse on Heta's daughter enough so they could do healing spells on her. So they heal her up, and Tindo does the healing life essence thing too as well. So trying to get her recover. Okay, so the year is 684 of the Lords of Bloodstone, which is year 28 of Lady Tamara. It is month 2 Allure, which is the start of spring. It is week 3, and day 5 is called Veldor. That's where we are, because keeping track of time is important for us players who are doing research on increasing our statistics. Okay, so the captain instead is trying to assess the damage of the ship, and Tendo attempts to assist, but he's kind of shut down. He's got navigation, is it, or ship handling, but he doesn't have any woodcraft kind of stuff. But Alvis is a carpenter, so he finally gets involved. He tells me, I'm a carpenter, I know about wood and stuff, but I'm not a shipwright. The captain's kind of dubious as at first, but Alvis was able to talk, fast talk his way in and said, okay, he'll give him a chance to help out. So a couple days later, we come across some wreckage. And as we're digging through this wreckage, we find 2 barrels of fresh water, 24 man-days worth of food, supplies to do 1 SP ship point repair, something like that. And something that looks like a tooth, but Wes was actually able to make his monster lore skill roll. That's not a tooth, that's a claw. Probably from a giant squid. Okay. Next day we see smoke from the north. Maybe a village on fire. Not a good thing. Day 9. No encounters, favorable weather. So we pull into land, send out foraging, hunting, and water gathering parties, and a bunch of folks do ship repairs. There's 4 groups of us, right? So Alice staying back to do ship repairs. Tindo and Raymond are going out on a hunting party. And then Brunt, Alexander, and Wes are out on another party. That's not right. There was a breakup. I wasn't paying too much attention because I was trying to figure some stuff out. But so we've got different people in different places. And it's Runt. Runt comes across a stone wall. And so he goes and checks it out, climbs on the other side, and let's have these mounds. Lots and lots of borrow mounds. He is not able to make his token lore roll, so he's just kind of checking things out when he hears yelling back towards where the ship is. And he goes and he looks, and there's the first mate of the ship, or maybe the captain, one of them anyway, yelling, get out of there, get out of there. And so he hears something behind him, and he just starts booking it. He eventually gets to where Wes and Alexander are. And Wes keeps missing rolls about things happening. Eventually he sees that Runt is running his direction. Alexander had heard and seen something earlier on. So Alexander, he's got his sword out, and he's moving, making it, okay, stop in here, get behind me, Runt. And eventually Wes sees all of this, and the Thing shows up. So Wes gets 1 round of shock bolt out before the Thing engages with Alexander. And so he's got this amulet focus that adds plus 20% to his spell casting and holds 20 magic points in it. And so he can overcharge by 4 magic points, because you get minus 5% for each overcharge just from having this thing, right? That's something I should probably talk to the GM about, because that plus 20 make is 64 and 84, and he may skimp back on trying to do that so much, because I the player, was thinking that it didn't actually augment my actual skill, because there's this function of meditation that allows you to drain off subtractions, like for his encumbrance and stuff like that. And so he's actually got 7 percentage points, or 1 mana of excess meditation available that he can use to overcharge with, right? So he can always overcharge 1 point, and it doesn't affect the skill percentage. But I wasn't thinking that way with this plus 20, but it's the way he was dealing it. I got plus 20. I'm overcharging by 4 points. So we're doing a shock bolt that'll do 5d4 worth of damage. And it's magic, right? Because Wes made that monster lore roll, so realizes this thing is undead. Doesn't realize what kind of undead it is, but this thing is undead. And it's not a skeleton, and it's not a zombie. It is something else. So Wes is overcharging 4 points, so it doesn't affect his skill percentage, and he's sucking up mana out of this amulet thing. So he fires, he hits once, does a whole bunch of damage. He fires a second time, got a special, and the GM ruled that a special during firing into melee, a special still hits the intended target. That's kind of a bonus kind of deal, rather than just dividing the percentage outright. And we didn't really think about the whole firing into melee until the following those 2 more rounds later, because the third shot missed or didn't go off. So hit for so much damage. It did 14 points of damage the first time, did 24 the second time, hit him in the abdomen initially, and then the leg. So the leg actually goes down. Then I miss, but with all that time, Alexander gets hit in the head, goes to 0. He's unconscious. But since I've been burning this thing up with shock bolts, it starts crawling towards me. So Wes backs up, and it's a white. The white comes forward, but we're able to maintain some kind of distance, right? He gets one more off. I don't remember how much damage that one did. And then the next round, it actually catches up to him. And, with the whole movement and casting time and the overcharge takes time. So Wes is moving for like 5 strike ranks. And then on strike rank 12, he's firing. That's the last time he overcharged by 5 points because I had the extra point for my meditation. Actually 5% from the meditation, right? So he hit him, I believe, in the abdomen again. No, that was the last shot. No, it wasn't, because there's some discussion. Okay, since he's on the ground, crawling, do I get a bonus to hit from, being above target, which is 10%? And he doesn't get that because we're casting a spell. But we do have to worry about firing into combat, even though we're just casting a spell. So if we're correct on casting the spell, it automatically hits the target. So I'm going to have a discussion with him, because he said it's not magic missiles. Well, actually, it kind of is. Unless I'm making 2 dice rolls. One to cast a spell and one to hit the target. But they kind of combined together, maybe. I don't know. We'll talk it out. Anyway, so there was another shot, and I don't remember how much damage that did. But the last shot, we realized, okay, yeah, you do get the modifier hit location. So it's a D10 plus 10, and he's right on me. Strike rank 12, and Wes fires 5 magic points into this thing, or 5d4. I don't remember the damage, but it was in the head, and that was enough to put it out. It collapses. Wes just runs for an entire melee round, then turns around ready to fire the shock bolt. At the same time all this is happening, Alvis had been back at the ship, doing construction, and they, knew things were going on, so they start loading people and stuff back into the ship. And after a couple of melee rounds of that, he comes running towards us. At that point, he's actually got to the thing. He sees me run flat out for a round, and then stop and turn, ready to fire a shock bolt. And as he's coming forward, he can see these bodies, mounds of stumping in the grass, and eventually we all get together. Okay, and we go in, and the white is far enough away from Alexander that we need to worry about. So we get to Alexander. Wes does first aid. Is he still alive? Kind of healing hit points, that kind of thing, and was successful. Yeah, he's still alive. He's just unconscious. There's also a point in there somewhere where Runt, that's right, Runt tried his spear on the white, and the white takes magic weapons to hurt him, and so the spear is not magic. It doesn't do any damage, but he did enough damage with his spear to overcome the hit points armor points of the spear, so the spear actually took a point of damage from jabbing this thing. And ooh. And so Wessex said, "Hey, go get help!" So he does. He takes off towards where Raymond and Tyndo are to get help. And he's yelling. And Alexander's been yelling. So Tyndo and Raymond, they hear some noise. Okay, there's something going on over there. But eventually this is going on longer than it would normally you would expect. So they start coming this direction. So Runt and Tyndo and Alexander meet in the middle. Runt takes them back to us. They see what's going on. Alvis talks about, hey, we're getting out of here. They decide to send Wes to go find the foraging party they were with. But eventually we talk to them, hey, Wes isn't going to be able to find them very well. Yeah, he's got a good scan, but, they're off that direction. Oh, really? Thank you. Well, anyway, so Wes and Raymond and Wes and Tyndo go to find the foraging party. Alexander, Runt, and Raymond try to figure out how they're going to destroy this wipe. They don't know it's wipe, but I do from the description. It's from the Norse expansion of RQIII from Avalon Hill. And so they decide they're going to use Alexander's +1 weapon to hack at the head of this thing. So there's a little discussion about, okay, that just +1 weapons aren't like magic weapons, right? They're just +1. So it's doing 1 point of damage. So Alexander was actually doing like 3 points of damage to the wipe when he was, attacking and parrying attacks and stuff. So 1 point of damage. You've got to do triple damage to get through, to sever through a limb, the head, the neck, and you're doing 1 point of damage. And edge weapons, they don't know this. Alexander, the GM just kind of mentioned that edge weapons do less damage, which I know the description, they do half damage, right? So he's doing a half a point of damage every time he hacks. So after 10 rounds, only doing 5 points of damage, which is about 2 minutes. They decide, this is not working, guys. We need to go. Now, during that 2 minutes, Wes and Tyndo meet up with where the foraging party was, and they're not there. So we scan around, and Wes sees, hey, they're off over there, and they're running to the southeast. And so we take off that direction, and we notice as we're going that way that there's a couple of figures in the woods to the northeast, shambling out there. And Tyndo's just thinking, these are a couple of guys who are late from thing, but I should have, hey, these guys are running. These two aren't missing characters, aren't missing NPCs, right? These are bad guys. These are shambling death. But eventually, Wes gets, they're the things in the forest. We need to go. And so we had to catch up with the other guys, get to the ship, get everybody on board. The captain's ready to pull out right now, because the only people who are missing are Alexander and Raymond and Runt and Alvis, because Runt and Alvis went to go back to where our foraging party was, make sure they're all gone. Okay. So while all that's going on, the captain's ready to pull out right now. And the first mate is pointing, it's not pointing at Alvis because I wasn't there yet. But the first mate is yelling about, we told you not to go into the ruins. And so Wes has jumped up on the side of the ship kind of thing, trying to look for our guys. And the captain's ready to pull out. So Wes draws his dagger. We're not his rapier. We're not leaving until the very last moment. We're waiting. So the captain kind of backs down, and we just wait and wait and wait. Eventually, after the 2 minutes of attacking at the head and not doing much damage at all, Alexander and Raymond, okay, this isn't working. Go. So they start trucking back, and Alvis and Runt eventually get back. So about the same time, they're both coming towards the ship. No shambling mounds behind them, thank goodness. So we all get on the ship and we take off. Okay. But we were able to get some mandates of food. There's some good rolls there. The next day, so it's week 4, day 1. We spot a ship. It's got a Lantine rig, so it's an ocean-going vessel, probably very fast, much faster than us anyway, right? And so it was a discussion, okay, do we try to go out, because the wind is to the southeast, do we try to stay in front of it and outrun it enough that we can get out of sight and then, circle back around? Because there's some also discussion on Wes's wind magic and how much we can do, and the GM's been doing some research on this and made some notes on his spell page. Or we can try and stay close to the coast, but if we do that, they will probably see us. So there's discussion on the wind stuff. I can add a couple of knots, not a whole lot. And in order to stop the wind on the other ship, we got to be within 100 feet, so it's way too close. Anybody who wants to get to the other ship, because we're not sure if it's a slaver or not. Okay, so if we by his side, we'll go against the wind. But he's tacking. He's tacking against the wind, and then we'll hold off on using Wes's magic and wind magic until we actually get close and need it, so we can then outmaneuver the other ship, and then they will be going faster against the wind than it can go. Well, that's our plan, and we go. So we're staying close to the coast. Then as we get closer, we do see that it is in fact a ship from Kars. So we all get together. The captains know each other. A bunch of sailors know each other, and there's all joyful rejoicing because no one has ever returned from actually being captured and in Minot. Now there have been people who have been captured at sea, but then recaptured back, kind of thing. That kind of stuff going on. Or left adrift and then recouped back, but never people who've been in Minot actually captured. So there's lots of people being rejoicing, kind of thing. So another thing, the people on the ship, not all of them are Norse. Some of them speak a different language, and we kind of notice that it sounds similar to the language that the girl that we rescued from the Swamp Witch speaks. She does speak Norse, but she also speaks other language. Whenever she gets frustrated or angry, she goes in this other language. Well, it sounds like what these other people are taking. So we think there's some kind of connections going on here. And the captain of the ship takes us to Kars. They divvy up sailors between the two ships, and they, get all the passengers onto the big ship, that kind of thing. When we get to Kars is a decent city. It's inside a bay, but there's not a blockade, but there's a narrow point to get through into the bay, and there are these two huge towers, and they've got ship destroying weapons on it. So when you come into the port, you stop at the bay, then a pilot from the city brings you in. So the pilots are bringing us in, and instead of taking us to the dock area, they actually take us to the city docks. And by the time we actually get there, the rumor that people have been rescued from Minot is going wild. So there's all kinds of people on the pier when we arrive. And of course, we get bumped to the front of the line. They take us through in front of everybody, that kind of thing. The tower's pilot brings us in. So we get to the dock. Everybody's piling out. We, the party, are kind of staying back. Had to actually organize those things. We just helped, right? But all the people are going out and meeting with their family and friends and stuff. There's all this reunion. Everybody's celebrating. And we start looking for Hedda. She's gone. So people are asking what happened, and the captain points us out that we're the rescuers. We started being acclaimed as the saviors. And the captains tell us that we're from Telgar. They had come out at one point. So where are you guys from? We're from Hamlet. Hamlet. From Telgar, the Telgar area. The ship owner Henry is there, and that's where all this discussion is going on. And then he takes us to the Golden Lion, where the proprietor Nelson takes care of us. We get fed, bathed, clothes are cleaned, and we're set up in rooms for the night. There's a festival going on in town. Runt and Alvis go out to experience the nightlife here, and they are taken care of. They get recognized, and everybody's giving them drinks. They take them places. They get to meet girls, all that kind of good stuff. Well, that's going on. Raymond is kind of asking, Nelson about, the city. Where's the Temple District? Where's, just so he gets a feel for how the city's laid out, just in general, right? They don't have a temple district, but they do have like 3 temples in a certain area. And there's some discussion going on about religion here in Kars. And some other stuff comes out. The Baron of Kars is of Norse heritage, not Bloodstone nobility. And while Wes is technically Bloodstone nobility, he doesn't have a position. He's not landed. He doesn't have any authority or power. Because they're talking about, okay, we're emissaries from our new thing. We are emissaries from Telgar. Yeah, well, no, we're representatives of Sir Michael. We're here to do reconnaissance. That's what it comes down to. While the rulership is transferred to the Norse bloodlines, the bureaucracy of the Bloodstone has stayed. It's more Norse-ish than Telgar is. And that's where we ended the session. Runt and Alvis do get up in the morning in various places in the city. Alvis, I think it was, gets told, he asks, where is the Golden Lion? And he gets directions. Runt, on the other hand, just gets up and leaves. Starts wandering the city. But eventually gets back to the Golden Lion where we are. Happy gaming. And find a good screen capture software.